Thank you guys for tuning in to West Wednesday. Thank everybody for coming out tonight. And the reason why we're at City Hall is because Nick Mosley put out some dangerous lies about the West Coalition. And he definitely truly needs to apologize. Like he put all of our lives in danger and everything. He compared what we did that was peaceful to the insurrection that happened in DC where people were murdered at the Capitol, and where people were murdered and everything. That is ridiculous. Like for him to do that is like such a smack in the face. And especially since for 10 long years, 534 weeks peacefully, we have been protesting in love and integrity. That's all we've been doing. And for us to get pretty much compared to some racist criminals that murder people is a smack in the face. And I'm really disheartened, sad, and everything. And another reason why I'm sad today is today is a real sentimental day for me. Just 4 years ago, one of my uncles that represented the West Coalition that was out week after week, Clifton Anderson, he literally lost his life 4 years ago on this day. He lost the battle to pretty much cancer. And the reason why he got that cancer because it started off as just an ulcer, a stomach ulcer, where he was worried about his nephew, Tyrone West, not having accountability for him. He was actually worried about his nephew. And all he kept saying, before I pass away, please let me get accountability for my nephew. That was one of his dreams. And unfortunately, he's not able to see his dream. And that breaks my heart because something that started with you stressing, this is associated to one unarmed man being murdered viciously by 17 killer cops. That is very disheartening, very sad. But this is what happens when a whole entire family is traumatized by the act of violence, senseless violence. And then on the behalf of people that's supposed to serve and protect. This is a dangerous game that's happening right now. And then, like I said, for our city council president to compare us to some murderers, that is disgusting. That is a smash in the face. Shame on him. And just all for his political gain, for his campaigning, and they try to say like somebody pushed us up because him and Zeke are going for the seat. I don't rock with none of y'all. Let's be crystal clear. Like I have respect for everyone, but I'm not supporting any of you guys. You know what I mean? I'm only standing by victims of police brutality. We done been down a Doug and Tony show where we done stood and I done had people come out to West Ramsey with the good talk and they walked right away as soon as they got in the office. I'm not entertaining that foolishness. If you're gonna do something, just do it. Then that's when I'll start entertaining it. But until then, there's no entertainment on the set. None of that. But again, I was just telling you about the devastating things that happen to a family when their loved one is brutally murdered. It's heartbreaking and devastating. And again, like I said, my uncle Clifton Anderson, he was stressing, he was worrying about accountability for his first nephew born in the family, first grandchild, everything, was murdered like that. And he literally went in to John Hopkins, what started off as a stomach ulcer, and they removed it, and they had to literally give my uncle 4 different surgeries where they kept leaving stuff and messing his stomach up in the inside, and the stuff that they left turned cancerous, and it killed my uncle. He suffered. He suffered not only for accountability, but he suffered at the hands of John Hopkins, who did him dirty. They did him horrible. So I'm uplifting his name, and then I'm also uplifting my nephew Trayvon West. My son's baby son, his youngest son. He has 3 beautiful children. He has beautiful grandbabies that he will never get a chance to actually help raise and adore them as they grow up. He was robbed of all that. And for Nick to say the foolishness that he said, are you kidding me? I can never give my family back my big brother. But the only thing I can do is just fight for him. But again, what I was saying about my nephew Trayvon, today is his 27th birthday, and he's still suffering from not having his dad. Mental illness is real. And it didn't start when, before his father was murdered. Unfortunately, it started after his father was murdered. And again, I want to thank each and every person that helped us go to Atlanta, Georgia to actually bring my baby back home to South Carolina. So whatever happens in South Carolina, I'm just praying for my baby, praying that he takes his medication and just do right and do what his father would have him do. Right now, it's all in God's hand if you believe in God or it's in the universe, whatever you believe in. But right now, I just want to literally thank you guys. Literally, just for every time just hearing our cries, just listening to us, supporting each and every way. And I'm real disappointed because we're supposed to be on Green Mountain 33rd tonight. I didn't want to be there on Poopy Hall, but Nick Moses is in there having a daggone hearing. And it's probably about to be over with soon. And I'm hoping we see him come on the outside. That's my biggest birthday wish for my nephew. I want to see him bring his hind parts out of Poopy Hall. Because I have a few things that I want to tell him. Because you're not going to put out no really. Then he go on Twitter. He's worse than oh my God, Trump. Like, ugh, disgusting, disgusting. But for him to put those dangerous lies out, he owes the whole entire West Coalition an apology. The same way you were Mr. Twitter famous and quick to put it in black and white, we want an apology in black and white. We even want you to tell us out to our face, I apologize. That's all we want. But until we get that, we're going to be right down here calling out. And I want y'all to keep calling the number. Do you still have the number from last week? Look it up. Okay, but we'll get you the number soon again. But
It's
again,
410, right?
I'm sorry.
Because I know it's like 396
396
804.
4804.
I think it's 410.
Yeah, 410-396-4804. But Nick Moley owes us an apology. He owes us an apology. And that's saying like, and then this is a lot. I'm sorry that I'm rambling, but it's so much going on. Like it's so much going on. So it's just like it's horrible. Was that the correct number?
So 410-396-4804.
Oh, 410-396-4804. Okay, yes. Please call that number, guys. Please call, leave a voicemail. But the man that he apologized to the whole entire West Coalition for putting out deliberate, vicious lies. But the saddest part, he won't even tell the truth about Worley. All we did want is Worley serving us because he already done failed us. He done failed us numerous times. That was the only reason why we were there peacefully with cute little signs saying no to wars. We wasn't disruptive. I have been down in those meetings where I done saw one of my brothers that's not associated with the West Coalition push the whole entire thing or whatever.
Lectern.
What is it called?
Lectern.
What is
Lectern.
lectern? Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Podium. Push the whole entire podium. They never labeled him as a racist person that was doing harm. All they did was told him to leave out, but let me push something over. They probably had me in handcuffs. But it's just disgusting and it's sad. And this is, like I said, it's a lot going on. And then I even think about when I was driving home, one of my aunties called yesterday, and it made me immediately go to Facebook. She was like, "Oh my goodness, do you know one of the gun trace tests? People are coming out with home monitors because that's all she could see. Like my aunt was, up there in age or whatever. And once she just heard like part of the news, and she was like, I think the gun. I said, which one? She said hers. But as I got home and got more research, but literally for them to consider even like he didn't consider all the habits that he brought in the community. So nobody gives a damn about what he's going to do. And I don't wish bad stuff on anyone, but even all the horrible stuff that he did to everybody, cancer is too good for him. Like cancer is too good for him. And cancer, like I said, took my uncle out and made him suffer. And nobody thought about my family. Nobody thought about releasing no one in my family that was incarcerated to say, oh, well, you know what? Your Uncle Clifton is laying there dying of cancer that we caused because we left stuff in him. We failed him in hospice and we left stuff and we left him to die like an animal. But nobody let anybody in my family come out of jail to even go to his funeral. But you want to talk about bringing somebody out because he is a murderer and that's what y'all do? It's disgusting to me. Like that is disgusting. And it's just serious. And the only reason why I'm talking about all this, but it's interesting that whenever it comes to these animals and these mania, these racist preppers, you will find any way to flip the law to put it in their favor. You will find things that I never even heard about, different types of ways to get somebody on home monitoring, considering this and considering that. Never heard of no such things. I can't even talk about it because I never heard about it. And I don't like to speak upon things I have no knowledge about. But the fact that I do know that again, that when it comes to these racist criminals, these murderers, you guys will break the law, invent new laws. You guys will push the wheel and make it so that they can live their life on. Like, get out of here with that nonsense. But meanwhile, you have guys sitting in jail, even before they made marijuana legal, sitting in jail with 30, 40 years on their head for nothing. That seen their mamas be murdered or lost their family members. They never even let them come to go to the funeral. But you want to consider bringing a piece of trash out? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. So that's pretty much all I gotta say. And just like I said, there's a lot going on. Sorry that I was rambling, but again, I'm human. It's really depressing, and I'm trying my best to literally start living again. 'Cause I'm trying not to let the stressful things that I go through, the stressful things that I'm hearing about, I'm trying not to let that affect me. Because like I said, when I went to go look for my nephew, it was so traumatizing that literally it almost took me out. And at that moment of me just almost trying to choke off a piece of cheese off of a pizza, that brought a new life in me. That let me say, you know what? You are killing yourself for everybody. You have to live for yourself right now. It's okay to love your family and keep fighting like hell, but at the same time, if you don't take care of yourself, who's going to do it? So now I got to take care of myself. Sometimes I'm going to have to say no. Sometimes I'm going to have to avoid phone conversations that I don't want to deal with. And I'm not going to deal with it because I've had enough. I've had enough. So again, I just want to be the voice to someone that might need to hear this tonight. Take time for yourself. We cannot save the world. The only thing that we can do is right, have integrity, have peace, and have love. But far as trying to act like we're God and create circumstances and situations or whatever, we can't do that. That's doing way too much. You have to do what you can do, and if you believe in God, let God do the rest. If you believe in the universe, let positive things happen. Whatever you believe in, let that healing happen. But don't you take on too much because guess what? Life is too short no matter how long you live. We see all the hurtful things, but again, we never, ever, ever said that we hated anyone. We never came from a hating spot. And that's why we're here tonight with love. We're here tonight with love. Even though like we could run up there, we could have the bad me, the inside bad me that used to be reckless, and even in my reckless time, when I say reckless, I never broke the law, but the baby that was fussing or just use potty words and didn't care what I said, that me is gone. But the only one to run up in there and disrupt his meeting tonight. The only one to run up there and do what I saw, guys, he pushed that whole podium thing over and demand that he apologize, but I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there because I'm loving the new me, the peaceful me, the respectful me, the integrity that's inside of me. I love that. I'm not going to lose that for nothing. If I didn't lose that on July the 18th, 2013, I'm never going to lose it. I'm never going to lose it. I'm going to keep fighting with respect and integrity. And that's the good part about fighting with love. Anybody knows the West Coalition have never tried to hurt no one, never disrespected no one, never put out lies about no one. Any and everybody can tell you about us. So again, just make those phone calls because that's very important. Our neighbors on the line, like for him to compare us to somebody who pays for criminals, that is disgusting. So I'm gonna do a mic check and I'll pass the mic. Mic check.
I think Wanda. Um, I want to talk a little bit about a fellow we'll be hearing about later. I think for Bill, uh, Leonard Allen Stewart. Can you hold the mic up? Sorry, he's a 53-year-old black man in Florida, and this past week he was killed in Georgia by a policeman. The things make a couple things make this really worth our attention more than just you know we always want to pay attention to all the deaths, but this one in a lot of ways is an archetype of what happens. Mr. Fuhrer was in 2006 wrongfully convicted. It turns out in Florida for robbery and was sentenced to life without parole because he had 2 prior convictions.
Life for robbery.
It became eventually the Innocence Project got a hold of his case, and the Broward County Sheriff, Broward County DA also had some going through some of their old convictions. They found out that in the lineup, they did a photo lineup for the people to say who is part of this robbery. And out of 5 pictures, 3 of them were of Mr. Cure. So that's in the first place. Also, the prosecution withheld exculpatory evidence before he's convicted. They had an ATM receipt that showed that he was at almost exactly the same time miles away, but they still wanted to get a conviction for him. So he was sent to jail. He spent 16 years in jail.
Shame.
Just recently got out and was because of his work at the Innocence Project, and was actually given a lot of times they just say, well, we're releasing you. This they gave a finding of actual innocence, which made him eligible for repayment, and received, I think,
Hey, some 800,000.
yeah, $800-some thousand, or I thought it was 18,000, but
No, it's
some fairly large amount of money. He was trying to go to school. He wanted to get into audio production. He went to visit his mother, and on the way back, county sheriff stopped him. It was a traffic stop. They said that he was doing, quote, at least 90 miles an hour.
17.
Now, what that means is that they don't know exactly how fast he was going. So they use a radar gun. They would say he was doing 97.5 miles an hour. And so they just stopped him because they thought he was going fast. And he was compliant. He got out of the vehicle, talked with the officer, and then for whatever reason, and no reason is been talked about so far, the officer arrested him, put him in handcuffs, and at that point he supposedly began resisting. Now, in the first place, a man with handcuffs cannot resist a whole lot against anything. But you can certainly understand how this man, Mr. Cure, would be very upset and very, likely to respond badly to that. So the officer at that point tased him, and then said he wasn't compliant, so he was beaten with a club and tased again, and was still, quote, not compliant. And so the officer pulled out a gun and shot this man, and he died. Now, another part of this that makes it such a archetypical thing is this officer tased this handcuffed man, and when the taser, the way it works is it makes all your muscles fire. It's a neural stimulator. And so all your muscles are firing randomly and twitching and you're convulsing. And at that point, of course, it's very easy to say, well, he wasn't really, they say, relax, stop resisting. Well, of course, you can't do that because you don't have control of your own muscles. And so now they give themselves permission to do it again, to tase you again, to beat you again, and eventually to shoot you. But this, every week we hear of so many people who are killed by police, and there's always some sort of a story behind it. We don't generally pursue them because we don't have thousands of hours every year to go through this. But I thought that this man's story, which is particularly apropos of what happens in this country, why we lose so many people, because so many people have such bad experiences, and then they meet these people who are just out of control. And this man's supposedly going to be investigating, blah blah blah. But just the combination of factors here just made it really stick out to me. This is a person who had already been abused by the state without being killed, and then he finally gets some justice. And he's finally getting his life together, and a random cop on a random road pulls him over and shoots him.
Maybe not so.
I'm done here.
Maybe not so rap.
I ain't mean to cut you off, but I'm about to use some potty words. Fuck that random shit. That shit wasn't random.
Right.
That shit was not random. That was a hit and execution. Just like my sister Tracy Fights our brother, Mr. Shane, who was executed. because he won and proved to the world that they were some fucking animals. Let's be crystal clear. That was a fucking hit. Excuse my language. But I'm beyond pissed because it's just horrible. And to me, he never even received justice because there is no justice. It's just us because justice don't allow an innocent man to set in jail for life for robbery. Like he ain't murdered nobody. Life for robbery that he didn't even freaking commit. And then you give him a couple dollars, some freaking pennies, and then toss them to the wolves because you knew they was gonna come and kill him. They like you knew they was gonna come and kill him. We need to start calling stuff out as we see it because that's how they keep getting away without executions. That's exactly how, because we keep saying, "Oh, well, it was random," and no disrespect to you, brother mine, because I know you felt from your heart, and a lot of people feel like that. But me personally going through the shit that I'm going through, and me knowing that none of this stuff happens random to me. Like when I come outside and my car tire is slashed and cut, that ain't no random shit.
Absolutely,
None of that's random.
absolutely
And then and that's why every time, and people probably wonder, why does she always put certain business out on Facebook? I don't put everything out, so let's be crystal clear. I put what I want y'all to know. I put my blueprint out because I want y'all to see. And I just looked at when we were going up against Kevin when he was the commissioner, and we did a peaceful demonstration. People were arrested down at Poopy Hall and everything. That same day, I come outside, my tire was stabbed and I put it in black and white on Facebook, saw that number. So this is not no random stuff. These are intentional acts, intentional hits. Look at the people that got murdered in Ferguson. All the frontline people that stood up for Michael Brown. They were executed, burned up in their cars, and we keep saying, "Oh, random acts." Look at what happened to the green guy that was standing up for Freddie Grant. I cannot, I'm sorry, I can't think of his name, but he was the main one fighting. Me and him did diaries together, everything. Stood up face to face, neck to neck with the police. He mysteriously got killed by some random person that they never touched on the anniversary of Freddie Gray. They are strategically doing this shit. And they make their mark and they make them know, "Oh, we did it." They make their mark and then they make them sad because the people that are blind to what they're doing, they see them as random acts. Like, "Oh, no, what they might say, "Oh, for it." No, it's intentional. It's very intentional. It's deliberate. So let's step away and call a spade a spade. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a fucking duck. Excuse my language, but I'm beyond pissed because we keep allowing this system to fail us over and over and over again. It's not a broken system. It was designed like that. That mean that at one point it was operating, it was working good, everybody was loving it, it was fair for everybody. That shit wouldn't work for us. It never was. So it wasn't broke. It's designed to do what it's supposed to be doing. And that's wiping us out, killing us, playing us, attacking from this system that don't give a damn about us. I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired of being tired. And I'm still coming from a place of peace and love. But it just burned me up when Brian told me that because I didn't know what he was going to say. But to literally hear a man trying to read, like, first of all, just imagine being locked up for a crime you did not commit. 16 years, not 16 days. I couldn't survive 16 days of somebody telling a lie on me. But to have to live and lose your loved ones and see life go on, then you have to come and you have to get adjusted to a cruel, vicious society that don't give a damn about you. And you come and then they throw some paint stick to them. Those pennies are supposed to be justice. That ain't no damn justice. It's just us. That's why I told them to stick that money where the sun don't shine when it came down to mine. Because the stuff that they give us is what they're supposed to give us. They're giving us our damn money. We're paying them to serve and protect, and they serving their own selves, protecting their own self. While they're serving us brutality, they are protected by these funky laws that I was just talking about. And for this man to be executed all because he proved and showed them that hey, they failed another black man. Well, I don't even know if he's black. They failed another human man. I'm just Yeah, well, he was black. But they found another black man. They found another human being. And literally the white came out. That was nothing random about that. That was deliberate. So again, I apologize for the language. Only like I said, if Shorty was out, he probably flipping doing flips right now. He probably chopping me up right now.
He loves it when you.
Yes, he Shorty loves it. But anyway, when I come from that place, because the pain is real, it's devastating. And you get tired of crying, and meanwhile, we're getting murdered, and they keep getting promotions. And next week, I'm going to even be interviewing a guy from a fire. He's a firefighter. He's a sergeant. And literally, racism followed him to his job. And see, we don't know. We always hear about like certain jobs, like the police department, this and that. Racism follows us everywhere. In the school system, the fire departments, everywhere.
That's right.
But this young brother is speaking up because he had enough. And I'm here to support him. We need to call a spade a spade. When you see something wrong, call it out. Because guess what? When you're silent, that's condoning violence. That's saying it's okay. We sit up there saying innocent men get thrown in jail for 16 years for a crime they didn't do. Symbolic to slavery, symbolic to what they've been doing to us forever. They hate us while we're in the womb. They hate our babies. And it's sad. And then they teach us to hate each other. And we do that. I just heard the most, and I'm real, like I said, I'm emotional today. And everything is coming from love, even though it seems mean, it may sound vicious, but it is what it is. But to literally have one of my co-workers who raising her two sons to be human beings, decent human beings. Her babies are TTH, 16 and 17-year-old, doing right out of her school, everything. And literally, for her son to actually get hit by a car from somebody that wanted to take his shoes and rob him. They could have killed this baby. And she's still at work this week. I commend her. And I love her for that. But this is the pain that we gotta live with. Like her baby could have been killed. The saddest part that broke my heart was when her son was asking bystanders for help. Call 911. No one called for help. They got in his car blown off. One lady, he was almost in her car. She shut the door in his face. But keep that same energy when that shit happens to you. It is sad what they're teaching us. Love is being taken out of everything, replaced by hate. But it's our duty to bring it back. We have to love each other. We have to fight for each other. We have to be each other's keeper. And I don't care what race, what sex, what nothing. We are humans. It's about humanity. Anything other than that is insanity. Mike Jack.
Mike Jack.
Apologize, man.
Apologize.
Apologize to the West Coalition, Mosby.
Apology.
Okay, I just came back from a long trip, and the last leg of it was in Jacksonville, Florida. And I could kind of shed some light about Mr. Cure's ridiculous sentence for robbery. Like, life for robbery is ridiculous, but Florida is racist as hell. And like, it don't matter where you are in Florida, it's racist as hell. So while I was down there was a story all over the news about a police brutality victim who was brutalized on October 2nd, but he survived. But his face looked like you couldn't even see his eyeballs. His eyes were purple and swollen. His lips, his cheeks, his forehead. His name, 24-year-old LaKeon Woods, was in his car in a parking lot, and they insinuated he was doing drug transactions, but there was yet to be proof of that. And it doesn't make a difference, but they literally beat the living shit out of him. They chased him down and beat him next to his car. And in the papers and on the websites of the papers down there, the sheriff that's the head of the Jacksonville Police Department literally said he received unintentional knees to his face. I can't make this shit up. So they're beating him, and well, you know, that's the kind of thing that happens in a hostile takedown. A 24-year-old skinny little dude with big burly freaking cops unintentionally kneeing him in his face while he's on the ground. That's exactly how they worded it.
Shame. Shame.
So I wanted to bring that up. Like, it sheds light on the fucked up mentality that they have down in Florida. You're gonna give someone life for a robbery? Like, no one died, like, for a robbery? And he was innocent. And now I want to talk about Daniel Russell. It's called compassionate release that he's trying for. He's already tried for it once, and the judge was like, nah. Okay, Daniel Russell was accused of stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from Baltimore citizens, of planting drugs, planting guns, hitting people with his car. He broke one woman's arm, a woman's arm. He poured a beer on a lady who was public drinking, poured a beer on her head and smashed her in the face with the beer bottle. This is a piece of shit now crying, I'm riddled with cancer and I want to go home. You have cancer, sir, because of all the evil shit you were running through Baltimore streets doing. That's why you're riddled with cancer, and it is no surprise it started in your dick. Hate to be crude, but right in your manhood, because you know what else he did? He had grown men stripped naked in public on the sidewalk
Shame.
to strip search him. So I'm sorry, dude, you're getting your just desserts. And where was the compassionate release for Keith Davis Jr. when y'all shot him in his neck and his face?
That's right.
And you were allowing his wounds to get infected and weren't even giving him proper medical care until everybody had to get on the phone and fucking call the jail. Where was compassionate release then? And he was innocent. Herschel isn't. There's a tree right on this corner dedicated to his freaking brother. Got hit by a car or something. This is the kind of shit that they do. It's like, oh, put all these motherfuckers on a pedestal and say, oh God, oh my God, he's riddled with cancer now. Yeah, he's riddled with cancer for every victim he brutalized in Baltimore City. He's got a lesion in his lymph nodes, in his belly, in his liver. That's one for every freaking victim he brutalized. I have no compassion for him. No compassionate release. So sorry, dude. You got a life sentence, just like Mr. Cure did. So nah, that needs to be denied. He's right where he needs to be. And as far as Nick Mosby,
Apologize.
peaceful people to insurrectionists, racist insurrectionists. I don't know if he did that because a bunch of us were white, but sir, we are fighting white supremacy. And the epitome of white supremacy is Richard Worley. Richard Worley not giving a shit about Brooklyn Homes, not caring about those two people who were brutalized by that rapist and set on fire. Didn't even put out a public statement. And then when a white woman dies, oh, now it's like this big thing. How many times does this man have to fail the citizens of Baltimore before you all realize he was the wrong pick? How many times does he get to say, my bad? We didn't do our jobs like we were supposed to. No, you never do. Actually, you are doing it how you think you're supposed to, but it ain't the right way. And it isn't helping the citizens of Baltimore City. So no, the white supremacist, Nick, is Richard Worley and most of those officers in that police department. That's the white supremacist that you're dealing with. And you all elevated him and gave him a nice big fat pay raise. And his ass still don't live in the city. So nah, I take offense to that. And not only that, it's like she said, dangerous because Nick goes out on public forums through the media saying that we're like the January 6th insurrectionists. And then it only takes one asshole out there to pick up on that and say, let me deal with these people. Let me follow the West Coalition and find out where they are. You put us in the crosshairs, Nick. You put us all in danger with your reckless ass comments so that you could just be like, oh, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Somebody planted them here. We don't work for nobody. We are not here at the behest of anyone. You know who we're here at the behest of? Tyrone West, Timothy Fleming, Anthony Anderson, Marcus Martin, Nicholas Lee. I can stand here for about 3 hours and name fucking names of who we're here on the behest of. We ain't here on the behest of any city council person. They're all fucking cowards except Felicia Porter. The only one that had the balls in that room on October 2nd, not October 2nd, yeah, October 2nd was Felicia Porter, was a woman who said no to Worley because she was standing with her constituents. Brian Dorsey, coward. You're supposed to represent us. Like, you're supposed to represent your constituents in total, but when you know what we went through, I'm sorry, we take a little bit of precedence over all the ass kissing Worley lovers. And you even told Brandon Scott you intended to vote no, and then took your coward Willie ass in there and saying, oh, no, but I'm gonna have to vote. Because people love him. Oh, people love him. People love Worley. What, the white people? White racist? Because this white lady don't love Worley. The GTTF was in my fucking house holding my 12-year-old at gunpoint. 4 of them in my basement. He still can't go down there. He's almost 21 years old, and he still doesn't like going down in that basement because he has flashbacks. Still in therapy. But yeah, okay. Yeah, they love Worley. The GTTF was operating all through Northeast District, terrorizing people. Darrell Harris, Abdul Salam, Tyrone West, my family, Timothy McCullough, all victims of the GTTF. And I got that in black and white. Black and white. There's proof. Jorge Bernardes Ruiz was part of the gun trace task force. I'm glad you brought this in about. So, yeah, Nick, owe us an apology. And it needs to be in public. It needs to be in writing. It needs to be verbal. You need to get in front of those cameras and retract your insults. Retract your statements. Because serious up. If we wanted to wreck that joint, we could have. But that's not what happened. And that's disgusting that you would come out of your mouth with that shit. Knowing that we stand behind Tawanda. Knowing we stand behind all of the other victims of police brutality. Living and dead. So nah, you owe us an apology. And we're going to keep coming here. And we're going to keep saying hello to you and exposing you until you come out with a public statement. You think we terrorized your wife? You wait, buddy. Mic check.
Mic check.
And I'm glad my sister brought out Louise because while he gets to celebrate his anniversary to Michelle Battle, that was yesterday. They've been married, what, like 3 years now?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my brother is brutally executed, and we can't even get a fair trial because of that foolishness because you in bed with a state prosecutor. But I don't give a damn how long it takes. We will have our day. We will have our day. But that's just sad. He gets to go and celebrate. He gets to celebrate. Meanwhile, we out here grieving. We out here literally, physically just going through hell. And you get to celebrate because you in bed with a state prosecutor, Michelle Bennett. I wish you guys called them. That's what I wish. And it's sad. Just like she was saying about person, putting all this compassion out. But it's sad that one of my good friends, Joe Crystal, who never comments, he like laid low. He was the one who chased out a good detective, chased out with rats on his car. He commented on my page yesterday. He said cancer was too good for that fucking animal. Those were his remarks. And that's from a good cop. That's from Officer Friend. Mike check.
Evening, everybody.
Evening.
We all we got.
All we need.
We all we got.
We all we need.
So I want to point out January 6th insurrectionists were terrorists, right? They wanted to intimidate members of Congress to change the election of the people. Nick Mosby, this is where it takes one to know one, right? So when Nick Mosby came into office, one of his first acts was to strip committee members of their committee positions who questioned authority. Any council members who questioned authority were stripped of their committee positions, chairs as well. And so that's terrorism, right? So make sure you know, other council members, don't question me, because listen, you know what's going to happen to you.
Yes.
I'll strip everything away from you if you want. Make you go to your knees, like we saw that evening. Little crippled, oh, I love Richard Worley. I can't figure, we gotta have somebody in there. All kinds of BS, because they know what's gonna happen to them if they don't fall in line. So line up. Here's what I want you to do. Line up, because I'm going to take everything away from you if you don't. That is terrorism, Nick. That is terrorism. Not what we were doing, which is giving you community input, which you didn't want to hear. 7 town hall meetings, testimony by people who are directly affected under the command of Richard Worley. You didn't want to hear that. You want to hear from Jack Young, please, and a very old Mary Pat Clark. Sorry, Mary. You're well past your prime, my dear. So, and this worked, right? Because he was convicted. A judge convicted him of ethical violations, and said, "Well, I'm not going to sentence you. I'm going to let the ethical board of the city decide what to do." And they were like, "Well, he could give back the money." Because Nick raised funds for the defense fund of he and his wife. While in office, the council president a judge found you guilty, and everyone else said, "We'll just give the money back." So that is terrorism, Nick Mosby. Takes one to know one. Takes takes one to know one. So after you, Nick Mosby, I want an apology. Tawana Jones wants an apology. The whole West Coalition wants an apology for your BS. And come out. You won't even come out to address us. We know you're in there. Come out, Nick.
Come on out.
Mic check.
So Dan got this thing on fire. I don't think I can hold it too long. Anybody else want to say anything? Go ahead. My tongue was Nick. So he also accused us of being incited by another council member. And in my letter that I wrote to him, I let him know. No, we were incited by the fact that 2 weeks prior, we came before the committee that was pushing Worley's confirmation through. And there were only 6 voting members and Felicia Porter. Now, Felicia Porter wasn't on that committee. She just wanted to hear the testimony of people for or against Worley. So none of the other council people were there. We only got to testify in front of 7 council people. Nick Mosby wasn't there. Brian Dorsey wasn't there, who backstabbed us. None of the ones that weren't on that committee were there. And then that day, every single one of them voted yes to push him through to the confirmation process with reservations. Did you not get that memo, Nick? Did you not get that memo? Each one of them had reservations. And the only one who voted no 2 weeks later on October 2nd was Felicia Porter. Like I said, the only one with balls in the room was a woman. So that's what incited us, that you would not let us testify in front of the full city council that was in that room on October 2nd. In fact, there was a protocol change because you knew we were coming. You knew we were coming. We've been to these confirmation processes before in front of the full city council and testified. And you're gonna pull some bullshit like protocol for change. We're not taking testimony tonight. At a critical, the third freaking most powerful person in this fucking city, the police commissioner, and you're not gonna take public input. Really? For real? For real, Nick? And then you're gonna call us insurrectionists? You're the one going against the city charter and the freaking constitution of the state of Maryland. You're an insurrectionist. Mic check. And again, if you just tuning in or you just walking past and you don't know why we out here, we're out here to address the foolishness that Nick, the dangerous lies that the council president put out in the peaceful protesters. No one never sent us. He always know that we always been out here for Tyrone West. My brother was brutally murdered in Baltimore City by 17 killer cops with no restraint. And not only are we out here for Tyrone West, we are here for all the victims of police brutality and murder. And we always come out in peace and love. And we didn't do anything in that meeting that was disrespectful. One, we held up signs and we walked out after y'all confirmed somebody that's going to bring this city to hell. Y'all haven't seen anything yet. He's going to bring this Worley is going to bring this city to hell, and he's going to keep coming out there, and he's going to keep saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I messed up." Okay, you are sorry, and you're messing up, but that's no excuse. The things that you did and allowed to happen to Brooklyn homes, shame on you. I hope you get it back. You let a mass shooting that never happened in the city that I even never heard of happen on your watch, sir. And you did absolutely nothing. You didn't do nothing. You told your officers to hold back, don't get involved, all that. You was with that. And a king and a queen were murdered. That family can never get them back again. All your signs in the world can never bring that king or queen back here. All your signs in the world can never bring my brother back here. You looked me in my face, Worley, and you said, when I asked you, When you said you arrived at the scene where my brother was beat to death, pepper sprayed, kicked, tortured, murdered, beat worse than an animal, you said, and then this asshole ride past on a bike. You said, you said that was a horrible scene, but then you turn around and say you never saw a bad cop because you're such a good cop. You voted yourself as a good cop. I want to see one person to tell me that you was a good cop. You voted yourself, sir. But again, Nick, this is about you, Slick Nick. You gonna give us our apology. We're gonna be after here. We'll be here week after week. You think we showed the truth in the world about your wife? You haven't seen us on you yet. We're putting out a dangerous lie about us. Shame on you. So I'm gonna open up the mic, and I appreciate your time because we went over a little bit. But I appreciate everybody's time. I'm sorry we were late tonight. But anybody want to say anything before we go into reading the set list? Mic check.
Check.
Mic check.
Check.
So I'm going to do a slight topic change, but honestly, when we talk about the corruption, the lies, the police brutality that affects Black Americans and poor Americans here in the United States, this isn't honestly that much of a topic change. The same violence that is perpetrated here by the United States police is also being perpetrated by Israelis against Palestinians every single day. On October 7th, Palestinians launched a historic effort to resist Israeli occupation, and since then, thousands have been murdered, thousands have been maimed. Yesterday, a hospital was bombed, 5,000 people were inside, sheltering against bombings that had been happening in their homes all week. 500 died yesterday alone, and that was an Israeli bomb. It was not Hamas or whatever the heck you say in the media. In 2020, when tear gas was being thrown at protesters who were protesting for George Floyd, Palestinians were tweeting, hey, this is the same tear gas that's been used on us. Here's what you guys can do. Palestinians have always stood with Americans fighting against police brutality, fighting for the rights of oppressed and racialized Americans. And so it's really important that we do the same as well. I just wanted to make a quick announcement that this week, on Friday at 6 p.m. at City Hall, there will be a rally and a march here in solidarity with Palestinians demanding an end to Israeli occupation and also an end to U.S. funding of Israeli violence against Palestinians. So please come out. And I know we're about to read the sad list, so I would also like to uplift all of the people who have been murdered, not just in this past week in Palestine, but in the past 75 years of colonization of their land. Thank you. Mic check.
Check.
Thank you. The rally's at 6 o'clock, right here at City Hall. So please, guys, if you can, please just come. Please come, spread the word, because again, this is horrible, and this is like happening right now in 2023. The hate from there, human beings being tortured, women being murdered, children being murdered, and the United States just turns on as business as usual. Enough is enough. I'm sick and tired of being tired. So please, any support, any love, please see you guys Friday at 6 p.m. right here at City Hall. And also, if you guys can come out on this Saturday to support my brother Joe, who has wrote a book. His book is being released, and I'm a part of the panel, and that's going to be at Ransome. I'm sorry. I'm at everywhere. I don't even know where I'm at. I'm at so many places. But where
Greedy reads and
Reedy Reads and Remington. Reedy Reads and
29th
Remington.
Street.
What time?
12:30.
12:30. I'll share the fly because I'll forget. I'm telling you. I actually thought it was Sunday, so I'm going to say that's Sunday. So forgive me. Don't judge my heart. But again, before we read the sad list, I'm going to read our disclaimer. It is the mission of the West Coalition to work for accountability for Tyrone West and all the victims of police brutality. We believe that there is a connection between police brutality and community violence. Police can use de-escalation strategies to diffuse situations without necessarily force, and we encourage community members to resolve disputes without violence. We care deeply about those impacted by police brutality and community violence. We seek to lift up the names of their loved ones from a place of respect and care. We obtain lists of names of those shot and killed by police and those lost to community violence from national and local news outlets. We know that these are by no means exhaustive lists and that gun violence isn't the only way that people are murdered. We do not obtain detailed information about any of the circumstances surrounding each of these deaths or the people that died. By reading these names, we are not condoning violent behavior on the part of anyone involved in the situation. So at this moment, we'll take 1 minute just for time's sake. 1 minute is definitely not long enough. But let's just take a minute. If you guys are in a prayer, please say a prayer. If not, that's fine as well. It's a positive thoughts to like everybody. And like my sister Queen just said, the people that are going through stuff every single day. And that's been going through forever. So let's just take a minute. I'm gonna look at the time. The time now is 8:24. We're gonna come back at 8:25. Mic check, thank you guys. Mic check.
Mic check.
So, this week in Baltimore, people were lost to violence in the city. We only have one name. I try to go back and read the other names as they become available. But for this week, do just in solidarity with the family and dedication to our cause, and go back to the name of Jordan Isaiah Wise.
Isaiah Wise.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Brian. I know that's a hard task to do. Just respect you for it. And now Uncle Bill has the police brutality list. Mic check.
Mic check.
Before I read the list, I want to uphold some other people who have been killed by the system because Tawana was talking about the history of racism. So when people were enslaved and taken from Africa to the United States, that trip across the ocean, as many of us know, was called the Middle Passage. And many of the people on the ships caught this disease called ophthalmia. You catch ophthalmia, you go blind. And what the people running those ships would do in a case like that is they'd throw the person overboard to be eaten by the sharks and collect the insurance money. And they would make a profit if 1 out of 3 enslaved people made it alive across the ocean. The estimates are, I've seen them all over the map of how many died in the Middle Passage, but somewhere between 20 million and 200 million. Tremendous numbers of people. So that was before even hitting the plantations in the United States and all the oppression and misery here. So we should remember all those that died in the Middle Passage. I'm sorry tonight, I'm a little out of date order on the list. But we have sorry for just 1 second. The first person we're going to uphold was killed in Miami, Florida by police on October the 11th, has not yet been identified.
So lost for killer cops.
Ashe. Also killed on the 11th in Utah County, Utah, 33 years old, killed by police, that is Tyler McLeod.
Tyler McLeod.
Again on the 11th, killed in Radnor Township, Pennsylvania, 28-year-old woman, not yet identified.
So lost for killer cops.
Ashe. On October the 12th, in Youngstown, Ohio, 45 years old, killed by police, Rico Acevedo.
Rico Acevedo.
And I'm jumping a little in dates because these are, I'm sorry, out of order. Killed in Monroe County, West Virginia, 35 years old, on October the 16th, Anthony Myers.
Anthony Myers.
Also on the 16th, killed on the street in Hartford, Connecticut, unidentified at this time.
So blessed for killer cops.
Again on the 16th in Newcastle, Indiana, 59 years old, killed by police, Donald Guffey.
Donna Duffy.
I'm sorry, Donald Guffey.
Donald Duffy.
Yes. On October 17th in San Antonio, Texas, a man who's not yet identified.
So blessed for killer cops. I say.
On the 17th in Camden County, Georgia, unarmed, many of these people are probably unarmed, but they just happen to mention it in this case. Unarmed 53-year-old Leonard Cure. Oh, we've spoken about.
Leonard Cure.
On October the 9th, going back in time just a bit, killed by police in Antioch, Tennessee, 30 years old, Joshua Kersey.
Joshua Kersey.
On October the 10th in Fort Valley, Georgia, 20 years old, killed by police, Caleb Putin.
Caleb Putin.
On October the 10th in Bonifay, Florida, 58 years old, killed by police, Thomas Evans.
Thomas Evans.
And the last person we'll uphold, whose life was stolen by police around the United States in the recent period. This was in East Northport, New York, 54 years old, Alan Weber.
Alan Weber.
Thanks for the support.
Thank you, and thanks for sharing all the information that you shared as well, Uncle Bill. It's just sad that people don't value human life. And this is really sad. But again, the church all that is love, peace, humanity, integrity, all those are cures. So what are we gonna do about it? Let's spread the love, stop the hate. And if you guys can please come and join us on, I'm sorry, on Friday at 6 p.m., please, because it can easily spread right over here. Just like COVID spread it started off, we're like, oh, it's not affecting us, it's over there, we good. No, and it quickly came, and it's still here. This can quickly come here. So again, please, just show up, even if you can't stay the whole entire time, just show up. Live to love to live. I love you all. We will see you guys next week. And we demand that Nick Mosley give us an apology. ASAP.
Apologize, Nick.
Apologize, Nick.
Nick.
Apologize, Nick.
Apologize, Nick.
All right, thank you. Live to love to live. I love you all. See you guys next week. Mic check.